Just because of information overload, we all know that learning new things is very hard for us. But I am going to talk about a framework that can help you to learn anything. And I have learned this from Sahil Bloom. Now let me get straight toward it and talk about this framework. So, hello everyone, my name is Harsh and let's talk about how to learn anything by 6 method framework. To learn anything, the first and foremost thing which is really required, and that is curiosity. If you are curious about knowing anything, you are surely interested into learning anything. But just having a curiosity doesn't make you a good learner. Well, this framework divided into 6 steps, that is identify and establish, research, skin in the game, engage in community, teach, reflect. Well, we all know from childhood we are so much pressured from our teacher and our parents that reduces the quality of curiosity in us. But we often find ourselves curious about a lot of things. Like I have a friend who is interested into cosmology and space science, so he always try to learn about it by searching and googling about it. So this is the way you actually quench your curiosity. Now let's understand this framework. The first one is identify and establish. Well, if you're curious about anything, you first identify what is the topic on which you are actually curious, and that is really fine if you don't know about it. Whenever I have to make any video, I first think about the topic of the video, then I look for the content which is required for making this video. Like, is there any blog available on internet? Is there any article available on internet? Is there anyone writing thread about it? I collect multiple different information from internet so that I get to know more about what I'm going to talk about, so that I have any idea what is actually I'm talking in the video. And for that I use Notion. And recently I figured out an application called Obsidian, and it is really great to making notes. If you are curious about any topic and when you start writing about it, you suddenly realize how much you don't know about it, and that is really required for learning anything. And there you understand that you are actually highlighting those points which actually you don't know about. And there comes the second part, that is called research. Now you have to look for the Google, YouTube or any blog site to understand what is your curiosity, what is the topic you actually don't know about. The way I told you the example of my friend who have the interest in cosmology and space science, now what he will do is to go on YouTube, go on Google, search about it, look for the articles, look for the videos, and quench his curiosity. He will fill his gap which don't know about this specific topic. Now there Sahil talk about different strategy for researching, and that is start horizontal then go vertical. Now let's understand what he means. From the horizontal, Sahil means collecting the surface knowledge, like what are the topics actually comes under the whatever the topic you are actually looking out. Like let's suppose I'm searching about space science. What are the surface knowledge of it? Will be stars, planet, meteoroids. These are the surface topics. Now let's talk about vertical. Vertical means going deep into the topic. Now we are trying to learn about what is planet, what is meteoroid, what is star, what are planets, and there we go deep and try to understand the meaning, the core component of it, how it made, what is its history, everything related to it. When you started note making in the first step, that is identify and establish, you again have to make notes for research as well and write everything on your Notion or Notes app or whatever you are using. Just write it down. Now you know how to get the surface knowledge. You will go on Google, you will maybe search on Wikipedia or maybe YouTube. But now for a deep knowledge, you have to listen to podcasts, reading blogs, article, maybe you will go on Reddit and you will look for every source which talk about the same topic so that you will get the deeper knowledge of it. Now the next step is skin in the game. Well, skin in the game is one of my favorite principles which I learned from Ritan, and it is being shared by a lot of time by Ritan, that if you are someone who is a spectator, you will never learn it. But if you get into the game, if you start doing it, if you start taking action toward it, you actually get better or you actually learn something significant. Let's suppose someone want to learn about space science and he is just watching video, he is just reading articles but not writing it down, trying himself to get into space camps or space stations and participating in such types of activities. He actually end up losing his knowledge, he actually end up not remembering everything. So it is highly required that you are making notes, you are participating in these events created by ISRO, NASA or anything, where you actually get a chance to learn more about it. And to understand the meaning of skin is not just related to your skin, but also understand that you have to participate in it. If it required money, it required time, but you have to participate. Not just theoretical learning, but learning through practicals as well. When you participate practically into anything, you actually build stakes that okay, you have the practical knowledge of it. That's where our schools and colleges lack. But that's not actually the problem. If you have the curiosity, if you're following this framework, you actually learn it. Now, well, you actually know the basic thing about learning. Now let's talk about engaging. Because you know what? When you engage in a community, when you talk with people, when you tell the people about whatever you're learning and what you actually learn in the process, it actually helps you to memorize everything. Like let's suppose you are a community of people who are interested into space science. Tell you about new thing, you will tell them about new thing, and you all sharing something new about space science. So I was taking the example of someone who have interest in space science. Now what he have to do, he have to find some Discord community, Reddit community, maybe Telegram groups who talks about space science, and this is the way he get to connect with people who are professionals into space science, and there he will get to chance to network with a lot of people. Now another one is teach. Well, there is a technique. If you have a knowledge about anything and you can explain the things to a 5-year-old child, it means you have the better knowledge about it, and this is called Feynman technique. I know it is quite cliche to teaching 5-year-old child, but when you teach someone what you have learned, you actually grow your knowledge far more better. You build a solid space about the knowledge in your mind. When you teach someone, they will ask some question, and that question maybe generate some more curiosity in your mind. The surface knowledge which you have in your mind become more deeper, more permanent, more concrete. And the next one is reflect and review. Well, the learning process is quite iterative, and you know what, you have to repeat the same step again and again to learn more about it, to learn the deeper knowledge of it. But you know what, you have to do this thing again and again to understand what you know, what you don't know, and have you filled all the gaps where you don't know about the things, because learning is a never ending process. So if you think like you have learned everything, that is wrong, because you have to learn, you have to get back toward the first stage, that is identify and establish. So now you have learned far more than what you know at the first stage when you started everything. Now you know much more than that. As I previously said, it is an iterative process, so you have to repeat the step again and again, and very well you have to understand this thing. Not just you have to make notes and throw it away, but you have to check them again and again so that you understand okay what you have made in your notes. That's the problem with us, that we create notes and we just think okay we have learned everything, but revision is very important, that you actually revising what you have written in your notes. And my friends, it was the 6-step process to learn anything, that is identify, establish, research, skin in the game, engage in community, teach, reflect and review. I hope you learned something new from this video. If you learned something, let me know in the comments. So if you are someone who have interest in space science, comment Cosmos in the comment section, share with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and I will meet you in the next video. I am Harsh and you are watching the Harshwise. In between of the video, I talked about creating notes using Notion. Now most of you don't know about how to use Notion, so I have created a video called how to use Notion and building a second brain. Well, second brain is nothing but whatever you have learned or whatever you are learning, just storing at Notion. This is as simple as that. So you can watch the video, and I have mentioned the link on the I button, and it will be available on the description. So go and check it out.